Hello and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I had a video up here, but I found something really exciting that I wanted to share with you all. I was recently working on a project and I needed to add user authentication into that project. I found this tool, Clerk.com. I had a good experience with it, so now I want to share it with all of you. If you don't know what it is, it's a user management and user authorization tool that allows you to quickly add user authentication and authorization into front-end web applications. And they also have backend SDKs if you also want to do that. So let me show you what our project looks like. So this is the web conference site that I was working on. I needed to add user authentication to this site, and this is what Clerk.com helped me do. It's just a landing page at this point with a bunch of AI speakers that are going to be speaking at the conference. I don't think that's a stretch at this point. So what I did is to show you the end product that I came up with is, let me sign out. So now, instead of what we had here before, which was buy tickets, this product now has the sign in and sign up functionality, right? And let me go through that flow just to show you how it works. I can hit on sign in. I will click on continue with GitHub because I already signed in with my GitHub. I already signed up with my GitHub. So then I get access to this dashboard page where I see some details about myself, my picture, a welcome message, and some of the things you get access to as a signed up member. And then we also have access to the profile page where you can continue your user management. Like for me now as a user on this website, I can decide to connect another email account or maybe add another account from GitHub or Facebook or wherever, and a couple of other security measures like reset password and things that you can do, right? This is what I wanted to add to the conferencing site just to get better visibility into who is signing up for the conference. And I'm going to show you how I used Clerk.com to do that. So we're going to start from the bare bones site here that just has the landing page and the buy tickets button. We're going to change that out, switch it up, and use Clerk.com to implement the functionalities that I just showed you. Let's get started. So I'm going to open up my VS Code into the project directory that I just demoed. This is it. This is a Next.js project and we're using the app router. So what you want to do is use the Clerk Next.js package. And to use that, actually, let me show you that Clerk there, they have a couple of these front-end SDKs that you can leverage. This is the Next.js one. So this is the one that we're going to be working with. What I want to do is first go ahead and install it into my Next.js application. And the way you do that is to use npm or any other package manager of your choice, install. And while that's installing, I'm going to create a new project on my Clerk.com account. If you don't already have an account, you can sign up, go through the sign up flow and get an account. Otherwise, you just go to the dashboard if you already have an account. And this is the current one. It's called WebConf. So I'm going to create a new application. And let's call it WebCon without the F. And then I will select the authentication methods that I want to allow. You can also do this later on into the application if you want. But we're going to go with the email address, Google, and GitHub. So create application. And then immediately I get the API credentials that I need for this application. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And then inside my project, I'm going to create, okay, I already have that from the existing project, which is this one. So I'm just going to replace this with the new one that I just created. Awesome. Then now that I have Clerk inside of my Next.js application and I've connected my API keys, the first thing I want to do is update the header of my project. If you see the project we want to work on, at the moment, we've got this buy tickets button, but we want to replace that with two buttons, the sign in and sign up buttons. I'm going to remove this one in the meantime, and let's do that. Okay, I'm going to refresh this to be sure that it's working. It's still working. Okay. So let's go into the header component of this project. And this is what we have at the moment, the button that says buy tickets, right? But that's not what we want for the end product, right? We want two buttons that say sign in and sign up. So I'm going to paste that button here, sign in and sign up. At the moment, it should go to the sign in route and go to the sign up route. So let's save that. And sure enough, we get those two buttons. But if I go to sign in, the page doesn't exist yet. So what we want to do is actually set up a middleware to add protected routes to this project. Let me show you what I mean by that. Is we have auth middleware. So this is the auth middleware that we can add to our Next.js application to protect all the routes by default. So what it does basically is, look at it. It says all the routes are protected by Clerk's authentication middleware with the exception of the internal /_next routes and static files. So I'm going to copy this, and back in my project, I'm going to create a middleware.cs file in my source directory .js, and I'm going to paste this here. So what this means is that by default, all the routes in the project is protected. And let me show you how that is. So if I try to go to localhost 3000 again, it gives me a Clerk authentication page. So I can't access any part of my site again, which is amazing to get out of the box. So what you can do now is to create some public routes. And this is going to be an array of the routes that you want to make public, right? And these are the pages in your site that you're going to say, hey, do not protect these pages for me. So I'll save this. And if I try to do localhost 3000 again, I should now once again see my project, right? But if I try to go to the sign in or sign up route or any other route in this project, I'm probably going to get that authentication page again. At the moment, it's not even hosted on our project, right? But we're going to get to all of that later. All right, so let's open that route up. Let's do sign in and sign up. Also, you have to put the slash at the back of the route. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So now we have access to the home page, the sign in page, and the sign up page. So we can see these pages, even though they don't already exist because we haven't created those pages. So let's actually go ahead and do that, right? So in my app, I'm going to create a new folder. Let's call it sign in. And for this, I want to create a catch-all route. If you're not familiar with Next.js starting catch-all route, it's created with this, like this, 3 dots, passing the name of the route, and you close that up. So every part in front of /signin will be caught by this particular page. And we're going to create a page.js file in there. And I just want to return maybe just a div that says sign in so that at least we know that it's working. So I'm going to go to sign in again. And sure enough, we get our sign in page. Great. So what I want to do now is add some styling to it, or at least put it inside of our layout component. So I'm going to do layout. And the actual page that I want to show here, I'm going to get it from Clerk. So let's import sign in from Clerk Next.js. And then I can render that out here. See sign. Save that. And I should now get the sign in model. We've got an unhandled runtime error, and that is because we've not wrapped our app in a Clerk provider, which is something that you need to do to be able to use Clerk inside of your project. So what I'm going to do is import the Clerk provider here. Provider from Clerk Next.js. And then I'm just going to wrap the entire thing. Put it here. Save that. And with that, we should be able to use Clerk inside of our pages. Actually, before I check back on the browser, I want to update this to give it some styling. So instead of just pasting that in, I'm going to put this in here. And this is the URL that it's going to redirect us from. So the sign-in package takes a prop called after sign-in URL, and it provides where you want to route to when the sign-in is complete, right? At the moment, we don't have a dashboard page, so we're not going to see anything. But I think in the meantime, let's just skip it back to the home page, right? So let's check back on the browser, and sure enough, we see our sign-in page. So this page is currently now hosted inside of our project, as opposed to the externally hosted sign-in authentication page that we get before. So I can go back to this page, and if I click on sign in, I should now see this Clerk sign-in component. But I'm still missing out on my header and my footer. So what I'm going to do is go back to my project, and at that, I'm going to do my layout here. And yeah, now I should have my project working as expected. So what I'm going to do is repeat the same functionality for the sign up page. At the moment, we've sorted sign in. So let's do the same for sign up. So let's create a folder. Definitely not on caps lock. Let's call it sign up. And you know what? I'm just going to grab what we have here and paste it here. Except this time we want to get sign up and not sign in. And save that. If I go to sign up, I get the sign up form. Great. So let's actually try to sign in and see what will happen. So let's continue with Google. I'm going to sign in with this account. And now sign in is complete, and it's going to redirect me back to the home page because that is what I've specified in my sign in after sign-in URL route. So at this point, I'm currently signed into this application, but I don't know, and there's no way to tell yet. So what I'm going to do is conditionally change the headers so that if a user is signed in, maybe we get access to the dashboard. And let's do that actually. I'm going to set up a dashboard page. Let's create a dashboard. And in there, we're going to put our page.js file. And again, I'm just going to copy things around to make things easier. Here, it's going to be dashboard page. And let's say dashboard, right? And I can't actually visit that page because it's going to be protected by default. Actually, I can see the page because once again, remember that at this point, I'm already signed in. So the authentication is complete. So I should have access to every protected route, which is why I can see this dashboard. So what I'm going to do is conditionally show a different set of buttons here when the user is signed in. And here, what I'm going to do is just conditionally show these two items. Say only where when there is, I'm going to get the current user. Okay, because we're not using the button, I'm going to get rid of that. And let's import auth. Yes, from Clerk Next. And then I'm going to, let's do user ID. We can grab this user ID from the auth object like that. And then what I'm going to do is check if there is no user ID, right? Here, I'm just going to put a fragment and I'm going to paste those two links. User ID, let's see. Oh, user ID, not the user. Great. So now when there's no user ID, we're going to show the sign in and sign up button. But if that is not the case, yes. So what I want to do is show two links that would give them access to the profile and the dashboard. And then one more thing that I want to add is the user button, which is the button that also comes from the Clerk Next.js package. It allows you to get access to user management sections of your site. So let's add that here. It's called user button. The user button also allowed logged in users to sign out. So you want to provide a prop, and after sign out URL, that would redirect the user to a particular URL when they sign out. So let's save that and see what this looks like. Great. So now, because we are signed in, we see the profile button and the dashboard button and the user button that allows the user to sign out. So let's actually do that. Let's sign out. And now we are back in the home page and we get our initial sign in and sign up buttons. So that's a good amount of progress by default. So what I want to do now is let's sign in again. I'm going to sign in with the same account that I used before. So this should then give me access to the dashboard page, right? And you can see that even after we signed in, it doesn't automatically redirect me to the dashboard URL. And that is because I didn't specify it in my sign in component. So let's go back and change that. I'll go into my app, sign in, page.js. And after signing prop is pointing to the home page. So instead of that, let's do dashboard. And now when a user is signed in, after signing, it's going to redirect to the dashboard page. So that's going to be the experience we want. But now the dashboard page doesn't quite exist yet. But I'm not going to build all of that from scratch. I'm just going to grab that component and actually let me get rid of signing. I'm going to get rid of everything actually and paste the dashboard component. So let me just quickly walk through it. We have some benefits that they get access to when they are signed in. We are listing off those benefits here with a button to grab a free ticket. And we have some text items that we've put on the dashboard page. So let me save that. It's just a bare bones dashboard page. And we can reload this page. Okay, I think the project is not currently running. So let's do npm run. And with any luck, if I refresh, I should get access to the dashboard page that looks like this. Fantastic. So now we can sign out. Let's try that flow out again. Back to the home page. I'm going to sign in with Google, select this account, and we should get our dashboard. Great. Okay, so what I want to do now is personalize this a little bit more than it currently is. And how to do that is we have the current user object that is available whenever a user is signed in. So we can put that in here. Let's do import current user from Clerk Next.js. Let's get the user from that. So this is, we're going to get the current user who is signed in from this current user object that we are getting in here. And what I want to do with that is maybe personalize the site a little bit more. So I'm going to do hi. Instead of nothing, I'm just going to use a name, for instance. Let's do user. Yes, that is what's exported from the user object. We say, hi, this user's first name and welcome to WebConf. And what I want to do is at the moment, let's save this. See? So now I see my name because I'm the user that is currently logged in. So this image is currently coming from Unsplash. Let's personalize that as well so that it shows the user's image. So I'm going to grab this and cut that out and paste this. So we check that is a user and the user has an image URL as part of the user object. And if that is the case, we set the src value of the image tag to be the image URL. So let's save that. And of course, we know that this is always going to be the case. So I don't even want to account for a case where there's no image URL. right? Because there's always going to be one. If the user doesn't have an image URL, Google is going to create one for them with an initial of their name. And sure enough, we get the image URL here. And let's test that actually works. I'm going to sign out and I'm going to try to sign in with actually sign up with a new account that has image as part of the user object. So I'm going to sign up with that. Great. And I see that I've got dashboard and I see that I've got an image here. And this should also redirect to the dashboard page when the sign up is complete. So after sign up, let's go to the dashboard page, save that so that we automatically come to the dashboard when the user is signed up. And then we see the user image as we wanted to see. Great. So the next thing that I want to do is basically set up the profile page, because if you look at this, if I click on profile, it's 404. The page doesn't exist on our project yet because we haven't set it up. And what I want to show there is basically this model that shows up here. So if you click manage account, that you get this model that allows you to manage your account, but this model is not hosted on our project, right? So I want to be able to show this model inside of our project, and that's what's going to show up in the profile page. So let's do that. I'm going to come back to app, create a new folder. Let's call it profile. And inside there, we're going to have a page.js file. And I'm going to grab that profile page from the previous project. It's pretty simple. I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. So we're getting the layout, our layout components. We're wrapping it in a container, and we are basically getting the user profile object from Clerk Next, and we're displaying it here. That's it. So let's save that and see what it looks like. Great. So now we're getting our user profile showing up inside of our project, no longer from the model. If you like, you can keep it at the model. There's no problem with that at all. But sometimes if you want to have the functionality of having all your interactive part of your application be part of your project itself, this is a good way to do that. So that's it. That's pretty much it. I think we have the functionality that we wanted. Let's sign out and test all of that again. If I want to sign in, let's sign in with GitHub. I should get access to the dashboard where I see some of my details and some of the things that I should get access to. I have access to the profile page where I can switch things up and upload new images and change things around the way that I want. And I can also sign out if I need to do that. And that's it. So the last thing that I want to show before we complete this tutorial is to show you how to add Clerk provided themes that gives you the ability to still customize it a bit further with variables. This is the default theme. You can see that this sign-in model is white. If you wanted to change that to like a dark theme, they provide something called Clerk themes. Search for this here. I'm going to do Clerk themes. Yes. So these themes, you can see that this is the default white theme. You can add a dark theme if you wanted. And let's actually do that, right? Let's add a dark theme. I'm going to Great. And now that I've got that installed, what I want to do is go back to my main app layout, which is the root file of my project. And what I will do here is where I have Clerk provider, I'm going to import dark, which is the theme that I want to add to this project. I'm going to import it from Clerk/themes. And now the way that I use this dark theme is inside of the Clerk provider, we can pass it as a prop to the appearance prop, and we set it as the base theme, right? Let's do base theme is the dark theme, right? And save that. Now with any log, we should have our project. Where is it? Now we've got the sign-in model is now a dark themed project. And let me show you that is consistent with the rest of the application. Is if I check the user button that we have on the dashboard page, you should see that this is now also dark themed as well. I hope this has been educative. This has been helpful. Let me know what you think about Clerk in the comments.